Wunderschönen guten Tag und herzlich
A
willkommen
wonderful
zu
afternoon
den
and welcome to
KI-Champions
the AI Champions
Baden-Württemberg. Ich freue mich sehr,
Baden-Württemberg.
Sie
I'm
erneut
very
begrüßen zu
pleased to
dürfen,
welcome
denn schon
you
bereits
again.
letztes Jahr durfte ich durch
Last
diese
year I
wunderbare
had the
Veranstaltung
honor to
geleiten. Mein
guide
Name
you
ist Ilka
through the
Gronewold
award
und ich
ceremony.
werde,
My name is
wie eben
Ilka
erwähnt, bereits zum
Gronewold,
zweiten Mal durch die
and for the
Preisverleihung
second
führen.
time I will
Schön,
be
dass Sie
your
sich digital
facilitator.
zugeschaltet haben zu unserem virtuellen
So
Event.
it's
Wir melden
great
uns
that you're
live
listening
aus
to
dem
this virtual
Römerkastell in
event.
Stuttgart.
We provide
Vielleicht kann ich mal ein
live
bisschen
coverage
Stimmung
from the
bekommen.
Römerkastell in Stuttgart.
Ja.
Clap your hands.
Sehr schön, vielen Dank.
Very
Ja,
good.
bereits
Thanks a
zum
lot.
dritten Mal finden die KI-Champions
So the competition AI Champions
statt.
Baden-Württemberg
Baden-Württemberg
takes
ist
place for a
Vorreiter in
third
Sachen
time, and
künstlicher
Baden-Württemberg is a
Intelligenz
pioneer
und
in
auch
AI and is
Innovationsmotor in
an
AI.
innovation
Ja,
engine in
Baden-Württemberg, und das
AI.
ist eben hier nochmal ganz wichtig
And
zu erwähnen, der
Baden-Württemberg, and this is
Wettbewerb wird ja
very
jetzt zum
important
dritten
to
Mal
mention here,
ausgerufen und man darf auch nicht
as this
vergessen, welche
competition takes
Auswirkungen das
place
hat
for
auf
the
die
third
Wirtschaft und
time.
auch auf die gesellschaftlichen Herausforderungen. Und dank
Baden-Württemberg benefits
AI
from
oder
this
KI
because this has
ist
got a
vieles
great
möglich
impact,
und
an enormous
eben
impact on the
kann
society,
KI hier als
and artificial
Innovationsmotor
intelligence
dienen.
can do a
Wir
lot and
freuen
can
uns
be
sehr,
an
dass das
innovation
Ministerium
engine.
bereits zum
So
dritten
we're
Mal
so
dazu
delighted
aufgerufen
that
hat. Das
the
Ministerium
Ministry
für
of
Wirtschaft, Arbeit
Economic
und
Affairs,
Tourismus
Labour and
Baden-Württemberg. Und
Tourism
stellvertretend dafür darf ich
announced the
erneut an meiner Seite
competition,
natürlich die Ministerin für
and
Wirtschaft,
I
Arbeit
would
und
now
Tourismus
like to
an meiner
welcome the
Seite
Minister of
Baden-Württembergs hier
Economic
zu
Affairs,
schätzen wissen.
Labour
Das
and
ist Frau
Tourism.
Dr. Nicole
She will
Hoffmeister-Kraut.
be with
Herzlich
us,
willkommen.
so Dr. Hoffmeister-Kraut will guide through this conference
Bitte
with
schön.
me.
Ja.
Was für eine Begrüßung. Ich freue
What
mich
a
auch,
welcome.
dass wir
Great.
heute wieder persönlich
I'm so
zusammenkommen können. Es
pleased
ist eine
that we
ganz
can
besondere Ehre,
meet
diese
today.
wirklich
It's really an
inspirierende
honor. It's so
Atmosphäre. Das passt auch zu
inspiring,
unserer
this atmosphere. I
Community,
like it
zu
a
unserer
lot. It's
KI-Szene in
typical
Baden-Württemberg. Ich grüße alle
for
recht
this
herzlich,
community,
liebe
the
KI-Champions.
AI
Ich grüße alle
community. I would
Teilnehmerinnen
like to
und
welcome
Teilnehmer
the AI
unseres
champions, the participants of
Wettbewerbs und
our
natürlich
competition,
alle, die uns heute
and
zuschauen, die
you,
heute
ladies and gentlemen,
beiwohnen.
all those who attend this event.
Mehr KI.
And we need this spirit. We need more AI in our companies, in our states. So a warm welcome to you.
Für uns als Wirtschaftsstandort ist
For
die
us,
Preisverleihung
as a very important location, economic location. So this award ceremony is very important. It takes place for the third time. It's an important message that what we like to get across. The AI champions
wirklich
really assume responsibility because through our role models, you actually show what is possible. There are so many small and medium-sized companies and
und dann auch
here in Baden-Württemberg, and they are really, I think, quite respectful when it comes to AI, and they think about going towards AI because it provides an added value. And this is why I am so pleased that
hier auch
our award winners are with us here in the Römerkastell, and later on we will proceed with the award ceremony, so I can't reveal who they are at this point. But this year's submissions underline really the fact that Baden-Württemberg has got so many companies, and in AI, those companies do not have to hide their light under a bushel. They have elaborated solutions that are viable, that can be really applied. And this is so important for us. We need you, and we are proud of you.
Bundesland eine der führenden
As a federal state, we want to be a leading AI region in Germany and in Europe. We know that there is a fierce competition. There are the big regions, the US, China,
allem, was wir haben, auf den
and we have to face that competition. But we have to do our utmost, and we have a great potential. We have to use this potential, otherwise we're lost. But I have seen that there are so many different fields. The submissions, the applications came different fields, the cultural sector, retail, crafts, construction, and cybersecurity, and of course industry.
allein schon das Branchenspektrum
So This range of industries shows clearly the key importance that artificial intelligence will play in tomorrow's economy, especially in Baden-Württemberg. And I'm also very pleased, and this is really very important for this format for AI champions, that award winners of the last years are also with us here in the Römerkastel. For us, it is very important to have a network of AI champions, to have this exchange and good cooperation among our AI champions. And for us in Baden-Württemberg, we want to create a quality brand, AI made in Baden-Württemberg. We want to develop this quality brand, and your cooperation and exchange is the basis. AI can be found in so many sectors, and I've seen the variety. I've just described it. We can't actually talk about a cluster, but it's the top quality that counts. We have to underline this top quality. We have to motivate the companies in Baden-Württemberg and show the whole world that we are good at AI and that we continue focusing on AI. Unfortunately, in the last years, due to the pandemic, some events could not take place, and still now some people fall ill, and these negative side effects. But still, there is this digital push, a push that we have to seize and that we have to further develop, but offer so many opportunities. And this is why I am so grateful that we have this hybrid format today, and that the AI champions can benefit from that we can have this award ceremony. And I'm happy that the award winners from 2020 and 21 are also with us. A warm welcome to you as well. We are also particularly proud of our keynote speakers that we were able to attract and who will join us. So I would like to welcome Mrs. Arunima Sarkar. I would like to thank her very much because she stepped in as Mrs. Kayforth Butterfield cannot be with us. And from Mumbai, she will now give a speech. She is an expert in AI and she's an AI lead working in the Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution at the World Economic Forum. She's got more than 20 years of experience in research, corporate growth and strategy initiatives, technology policy, with a special focus on data analytics and artificial intelligence. And she's an expert member of the Global Partnership on AI, GPAI, Working Group on Responsible AI. So, welcome, Mrs. Sarkar. We're looking forward to your speech. I would also like to welcome Mr. Richard Foster Fletcher. He's the Executive Chair at MKAI, an inclusive AI community. He's also the founder and Executive Director of the consultancy Neutral Path IO, and his area of expertise encompasses the big future topics of our time: metaverse, blockchain, climate change, combined with ethically grounded artificial intelligence. And he will focus his talk on ethical responsibility in metaverse and artificial intelligence. So, Mr. Foster Fletcher, we are really curious and looking forward to your speech. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in difficult times, high energy prices, supply bottlenecks, galloping inflation, and a gas shortage. So we need hidden champions, and we need you in these new fields, economic fields of the future. We have to build up a high level of competence to be strong on the market, because the global competition is becoming increasingly fierce, especially when it comes to the key technologies of the future, such as artificial intelligence, climate tech, robotics, autonomous mobility, quantum computing, or synthetic biology, technologies that can make major contributions to the world's big challenges and offer enormous growth potentials as well. So we must be really at the forefront of these future technologies if we want to secure today prosperity and employment for tomorrow. And here I'm talking about jobs here in our state, because this is our goal. We want to be a successful location in the future. Just recently, the Handelsblatt newspaper complained in great detail about a lack of innovation in Germany, a statement that I do not share in view of our many highly innovative companies here in Baden-Württemberg. And so I would like to say that we have really highly innovative companies here, medium-sized companies, startups, and also global players. Nevertheless, such headlines should motivate us to face the international competition for innovation even more resolutely. We must strive even more consistently to build on our existing strengths and also develop entirely new strengths in the major growth markets of the future. And we must do everything we can to become more resilient to crises. We need greater energy independence, and we need it as soon as possible. And we want a transformation towards climate neutrality to succeed. We want much greater technological sovereignty in Europe, especially in the key technologies of the future, and which is a contribution that Baden-Württemberg can make. We need a milestone, a quantum leap. We have to fight climate change, and we need also to push digitalization and meet the challenges also of the demographic change. We can only do this with innovation and technological progress. And this is why we need you. We need a fireworks of economic and technical, but also social innovations, also and especially in the area of digitalization and AI. And examples of application can be seen in the intelligent control of electricity and energy consumption, resource efficiency, and also in the realm of recycling. And we can also try to help to reduce dependence on imports of critical raw materials. This is an important track. But there are potentials that we can use. And AI also offers completely new possibilities for personalized education, for linguistic communication between people, as well as for disease diagnostics and accelerated development of highly effective drugs and personalized medicine. And many people are waiting for good solutions and for personalized therapies. And this is why this matters a lot to me. We want to provide support to you to progress faster in this area in the other areas. So the market for AI solutions is very dynamic. So the value added in this sector is expected to increase fivefold from the current level of around $100 billion to around $500 billion by 2028, which corresponds to annual growth rates of about 40%. So against this backdrop, AI is a great economic opportunity for us in Baden-Württemberg. And so this is why we need viable AI solutions, and we have to apply them very quickly. And we know that the world is not waiting for us. But we will make a major contribution. And with the action program AI for SMEs, we have created an element, and we have also this competition today. And currently we are building an AI innovation park in Heilbronn. It's a big vision. It's a big single project that we finance in this sector. And I would be very pleased if you could connect, and you will certainly do, because many things are going on. And we also have regional excellence centers in Stuttgart, Karlsruhe, and Neckaralb, but also in Ulm, Ostalbkreis, and Freiburg, there are locations. And we also have this innovation funding program, Invest Baden-Württemberg, Invest BW. It's an innovation funding program that should allow you to improve digitalization and AI, and we provide 30 million euros for this program, and we want to make a contribution to innovation and to help our companies in Baden-Württemberg. In addition, there are 16 regional AI labs, and I'm sure that you know some of them, and we want to provide some contributions with a low threshold introduction to AI topics to help the companies. And recently, I could also present the funding decisions. I could also do this personally because we want to push AI, but we can only do this together. And this is why I am so pleased that we are together today in these difficult times and that we can award the prizes and show that we're the leading site location in Europe, that we have created a benchmark, and we want to continue doing so. And our finalists, they show us how it's done. They are really examples and shining examples and role models that can provide guidance to many companies and decision makers in Baden-Württemberg. And now I'm really looking forward to the inspiring and unique speeches, to the contributions. And of course, I'm looking forward to these contributions, and I'm looking forward to the AI Champions Baden-Württemberg. We're happy that we can present your projects and meet you today. So I'm looking forward to it. So thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you so much, Dr. Hofmeister-Kraut. Thank you for this introduction. Thank you for taking the time, 2 hours, for this award ceremony. And we will guide through the ceremony together. And you already told us who will be the speakers, the keynote speakers today. And we're very happy that Mrs. Arunima Sarkar has the time to talk to us. She's lead of artificial intelligence and machine learning at the World Economic Forum. And she stepped in and we introduced her, we presented her. And now I would like to thank her for giving this speech today. We're looking forward to her keynote. So enjoy her speech entitled, "You cannot successfully achieve an AI ecosystem without responsible design, development, and use of AI." Welcome. Greetings from Stuttgart.
Hi.
Thank you, Hilka, and thank you, Honorable Minister Dr. Kraut, for having me today. And I'm very happy to join you virtually from Mumbai and excited to hear about all the innovative work that's being done by some of the leading AI organizations from Baden-Württemberg. So the deployment of AI has only grown through the support of government strategies and research institutions and leading applications from the private sector, and a very vibrant, evolving AI startup ecosystem. Countries with higher digital maturity, they're already witnessing large-scale deployment of AI solutions, and in both the private and public sectors, in wide areas ranging from precision medicine, from medical imaging, precision agriculture, virtual assistance, to crime management, or also assignment of credit scores for loan disbursement. So though AI is often deployed with the intentions of improving access and quality and higher efficiency, and also for solving some of the pressing societal problems, the risks and challenges of leveraging AI have also emerged across a number of different areas. In many cases, AI systems have been found to discriminate against minorities, given their lack of representation in training data, or due to the inherent human bias amongst the programmers designing these solutions. And the black box nature of certain types of AI can further accentuate this challenge by making it harder for stakeholders to understand what are some of the causes behind this discrimination. And AI systems often lack transparency, and the user is even unaware at times that they're dealing with a chatbot or an automated decision-making system. And this awareness is key to build trust with the user. Safety and robustness of AI systems, they can also pose serious challenges, especially in high risk prone applications. And unequal access to AI powered applications for marginalized populations can also accentuate the digital divide even further. And the usage of AI for malicious intent, for example, deep fakes to create misinformation, may also have serious repercussions on society. I will therefore be spending some time today talking to you about the importance of AI ethics and governance in the design, development, and deployment of AI. And I'll also share with you some of the initiatives that we are working around AI governance at the World Economic Forum, and with a few examples to illustrate how organizations can make the journey from AI ethics principles to practice. So the new technologies that are driving the fourth industrial revolution, they will be key to the global recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic, but only if they are harnessed properly. And an essential consideration for governments, businesses, and civil society is how these technologies are harnessed and regulated to accelerate the growth and to encourage innovation and build resiliency. And without effective measures to ensure that the new developments enhance equality and inclusion, the technology could actually end up increasing inequality and bias and enable abuses of power. And as AI makes advances and new products and services are created around it, we must pay attention to the increasing gap that we are seeing between the technological advancement and the ability of organizations and policymakers to keep up with this change. And to address this gap, we at the World Economic Forum Center for Fourth Industrial Revolution have been developing tools to help the organizations and governments adopt these fourth industrial revolution technologies such as AI in a responsible manner. And these frameworks are co-designed with a global group of multi-stakeholder experts from businesses, governments, academia, and civil society. They are then piloted in specific use cases and jurisdictions, and then they are scaled. So over the last few years, more than 190 sets of ethical principles have been developed. Quite a few countries have now started drafting national AI strategies, and few have also outlined the national responsible AI roadmaps. But wherever they are based, they roughly have 10 principles in common. As you can see, the diversity and inclusion, reliability, human agency, beneficial AI, data privacy, fairness, explainability, transparency, safety, and accountability. But now that we have all these principles, it is also important to move from principles to practice. And we have been working with businesses and governments on operationalizing these principles. And we have been creating frameworks around which can help inform policy innovations, which can help unlock the value from AI by sharing case studies from various AI applications for both economic and societal good. We have also helped, these frameworks also help accelerate the development and adoption of AI to address some of the biggest social challenges that we face today across different countries. And also in developing positive futures, how can we orient the future development of AI and economic advancement in a positive direction? So I would like to mention that for governance making purposes, it is important to be aware of the several policy making instruments that could be considered as an alternative or in addition to legislation. So for implementing ethical considerations into AI applications. So for example, there are several levers or tools such as guidelines, codes of practice, charters, self-regulations, standards, certification mechanisms, monitoring and auditing frameworks as well. And to further illustrate the ways in which responsible AI can be embedded into institutions, processes, behaviors, designs of technology, I'll briefly talk through a few initiatives which can illustrate that better. The first one that you see is around governance frameworks called the Chatbot Reset Framework. It addresses a particularly critical area of social importance, that is healthcare. And as we have seen in the ongoing pandemic, it is of paramount importance to manage all aspects of healthcare responsibly. And among them is the rapidly increasing use of AI in healthcare. And the goal of this initiative has been to develop a governance framework for the responsible use of chatbots in healthcare. And we brought together chatbot developers and chatbot platforms, the medical community, civil society, academia, and also the healthcare regulators. We developed and released this framework. And now we have organizations from India, Europe, and also the government of Rwanda who have been piloting and testing this framework. It includes a couple of AI healthcare startups from Germany as well. We have Ada Health and Omnibot who have actually piloted these frameworks in their use cases. And all these piloting organizations and governments have been providing feedback on the usability, effectiveness of this framework in their specific context. So the purpose is that through designing, piloting, and scaling such frameworks, we can strive to achieve broader adoption of the technology in healthcare while we maximize its uses and at the same time minimize some of the negative consequences. There are also several frameworks that we are working on around high risk use cases, for example, facial recognition. We have co-designed frameworks for facial recognition for flow management in airports and also for facial recognition for law enforcement. We have been working very closely with our core partners, Interpol, the UN agency UNICRI, and the Netherlands Police. And the guidelines for facial recognition for law enforcement have been released. And today we have several police agencies across the world who are now testing these guidelines within their jurisdictions as well and providing us feedback as to how facial recognition can be implemented responsibly in different scenarios as well. I would also like to point you towards toolkits like Empowering AI Leadership series from the World Economic Forum, where we have built toolkits for AI board toolkits and the C-suite toolkit. This is primarily to understand how AI will affect businesses and to equip the boards and senior executives towards asking the right questions and to make the considerations needed to implement AI in their organizations responsibly. Both the board toolkit and the CC toolkit has special focus on ethics. We have an ethics module in the board toolkit, and the CC toolkit asks a series of questions to senior executives around broad topics of AI strategy, responsible AI, and implementation of AI as well. And it's a set of practical set of tools that can really empower them to understand the positive and negative impacts of using AI in their businesses and helps them oversee the responsible operationalization of AI in their organizations. In addition to these, we also constantly keep developing and sharing leading best practices in responsible AI from organizations, which can really help accelerate the adoption of such practices in the ecosystem. These are a few of the examples of how we have several organizations, governments, academic institutes, and regulators who have been participating in understanding what are the opportunities and risks of AI in their specific applications and what kind of guidelines and guardrails need to be put in place so that we can minimize any potential risks and actually exploit the potential of this technology for the benefit of humanity. There are several more instances. I just wanted to share a few to give you a sense of how we can actually put such AI ethics principles into practice. And finally, I would like to talk about, so what is the business case for responsible AI? So as organizations have matured in their AI strategy and adoption, the importance of regulatory affairs, risks, and ethics has been rising very steeply. And for leaders who are strategically planning for AI, they should mitigate the forecasted risks arising from these domains well in advance and not stifle their own progress. That time has passed now, where in the initial few years, companies were still exploring the imperative of doing AI ethically and responsibly. These are a few, if not, I mean, there are several more reasons, I mean, as to why businesses should care for responsible AI. So practicing responsible AI and revenue are interconnected. There are studies which show that 94% of C-suite executives agree that responsible AI will produce a greater return of investment for shareholders. And so and there is a direct correlation between responsible AI and an investment world. We are also increasingly seeing that as customers learn about AI, they increasingly care and act on it. There are studies again which show that 66% of customers expect AI models to be to be fair and free of prejudice and any bias against them. And 67% expect the organizations to actually take ownership of their AI algorithms when they go wrong. Responsible AI is also important to safeguard and increase brand reputation and trust. In the current period, where many organizations are still in the early AI learning curve, we have seen there are studies which show that 22% of organizations in the last few years have faced customer backlash due to decisions reached via their AI systems. Careful planning for responsible AI boosts product quality. And again, studies have shown that 97% of executives agree that this ethics to innovation link is essential. And it also helps to increase product security and transparency. And one of the final points here around the business case for responsible AI is around the talent. And we have seen that there is a phenomenon where pressure is coming from the workforce itself. And the more the enterprise actually depends on the loyalty of top talent, the higher are the chances that the employees will push back or even revolt on ethical grounds. So the best talent cares about responsible AI. It is difficult to get the best talent, and getting the best AI talent is even more elusive. So all the more reason that we need to embed responsible AI practices into our processes right from the beginning. Uh, this is an extract from our work around the AI C-suite toolkit. There is a very interesting and detailed study around the responsible AI model in the entire AI life cycle implementation cycle. And I would urge everyone to have a look at it to understand how we should be considering the responsible AI principles and put them into practice. So in closing, I would like to say that ethics in AI is an absolute must, and it is needed to build public trust in this technology. And that is how it will be important for people to adopt them. And we should make ethics by design and ethical considerations part of the process of developing new applications. And it is required at all times and at all places, and it cannot be an afterthought. So I'll end my speech with this.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aronima. Your applause. Thank you so much.
And with this, we will now start with our award ceremony for the AI Champions in Baden-Württemberg 2022. And this prize is awarded to research institutes and companies that offer solutions that are outstanding in the field of artificial intelligence made in Baden-Württemberg. The jury is a team of experts from different fields of expertise. Now, how are we proceeding? First of all, Ms. Hofmeister-Kraut is going to open the envelope and reveal the secret of who our first winner is. And afterwards, we're going to present you a brief portrait, a brief video clip about the winners. And then our winners will be here with us on stage and we'll have a short interview. That's how we're going to proceed. And with this, we can get started. Ms. Hofmeister-Kraut, please proceed and tell us who the first winner is. Well, I'm also looking forward to the results. In 2022, of course, a lot is happening, and I am so delighted that we have highly innovative solutions that we can present to you today. The first winner of our AI Champions 2022 is the AI solution IoT behavior boardnet detection from Ashwin. The award winners are Mr. Mirko Ross, the CEO, and he's with us today. Mr. Ross, please join us on stage. Congratulations. Hello, I'm delighted to have you here. And before we're going to talk to you, first of all, we're going to look at your innovation. Please start the movie. My name is Mirko Ross. I'm the founder and CEO of Ashwin. At Ashwin, we ensure that industrial companies, for example, also in the automotive industry, can securely make their applications available on the internet. We are a cybersecurity company here in Stuttgart, in Baden-Württemberg. We use artificial intelligence to be able to detect attacks on devices or applications in the Internet of Things in good time, enabling our customers to initiate countermeasures quickly and effectively and protect their business and operations with the help of artificial intelligence. Mr. Rosa, now I can officially hand over this award for you. Of course, it also includes AI. This is our trophy. And I can just tell you, we need more of your type. I'm proud of you. Cybersecurity is the dominant topic of our times because we are seeing more and more cyber attacks. So we need companies like yours. Great. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. That's great. Mr. Ross, just stay with us for a moment. You're the first one. That's a special moment. Now, we heard that there is AI included. I would like to show this trophy briefly because you're the first one seeing this and having it in their hands. So, in this trophy, we have a clock, and it counts down the time up to the year 2062. Now, why is that? Because in 2062, according to the Australian researcher on artificial intelligence, Toby Walsh, we will see that artificial intelligence will be on a par with us. And this is why this trophy fits in perfectly with our event. And we are grateful that we again have this trophy for you this year and that you're the first one receiving it this year. And now, please stay with us for another moment because I have a question for you. Ms. Hofmeister-Kraut, in her introduction, already mentioned that we have many different fields that are represented here. So you're dealing with cybersecurity in general. So why did you want to couple your solution with AI? Well, cybersecurity is, of course, an ideal field for AI. Why? Well, AI is always strong if you have a lot of data to handle. And in cybersecurity, you have numerous data, network analyses, devices that are used, or also autonomous cars in the future that need to be managed. And you cannot do this manually. So you need intelligent solutions, and AI is predestined for that. Perfect. And you are predestined to be our winner. Thank you so much. That's your applause, Mr. Ross. The best to you. And of course, we also have other exciting projects and great winners. Ms. Hofmeister-Kraut, here's the next one. Our second AI champion for 2022 is the AI solution Scan2BIM AI. And the organization is Auribis GmbH, a company, and our winner here with us is Dr. Stefan Herrmann and also Mr. Martin Bach. Welcome. And in parallel, we are looking at the video clip to find out what Scan2BIM means. We are Auribis from Ulm, a young AI startup training neural networks and currently consisting of 9 AI experts and software developers. Auribis develops a Scan2BIM AI. Our neural networks understand buildings. They understand laser scans, 3D scans of buildings, and the neural network, the AI, searches these scans and identifies walls, windows, doors, surfaces, pipes, and so on. Our AI is one of a kind in the world. We're the only ones who can offer this service to architects. And this is due to the fact that our product is not AI-based. Our product is AI made in Germany. We are inspired by the most successful software companies in the world, using modern technologies, modern development methods, advancing our AI know-how with every single employee. And we have many projects in our pipeline. Just get in touch with us. Great. So I'll hand this award over to you.
Potenzial zu schöpfen.
That's a lot of potential that can be tapped in this field of buildings. That's amazing. Can I move here? Perfect.
Hier, hinter dem Pult? Okay. So.
Behind the lectern? Okay.
Jetzt sind Sie im Mittelpunkt.
Good.
So, Herr Bach.
Now you're at the center of things. Mr. Bach, the first question is for you. Okay, wonderful. You have the trophy in your hands. Now, how do you feel having just received this award? Well, of course, we're proud that we get this award for our work and that this is appreciated with this award. But I also want to mention that, of course, it's not just the work of the two of us, of just Stefan and myself, but of course, there is a big team behind it. We saw it in the video. We also have many from our team here, and they are joining us in the celebrations today. So I would also like to thank the entire team. I'm proud of you.
Vielen, vielen Dank.
Thank you so much.
Herr Dr. Hörmann, wie viel Zeit haben Sie dafür
Mr.
investiert
Herman, how
bis
much
zum heutigen
time
Tag?
did you invest to achieve this until today? Well, Martin and I have started to work together at uni. So yesterday, 10 years ago, that was. And we developed autonomous cars together. We built autonomous cars. In Baden-Württemberg, we were also sometimes the only university that had autonomous cars that were able to drive. So we have been doing this for quite some years. Which university was that? In Ulm with Professor Dietmeier. Yes, so we have been preparing for this for quite some time, but really achieving the transfer to the building or construction industry, this is something that we have been working on since 2018, maybe 2018, and this was due to the fact that for autonomous driving, we needed a ground truth. So we wanted to model something, and we thought, well, this can be achieved with a push of a button, but that was not the case. The solution was that we had to send it to India to have it modeled, and architects and engineers, you know, they were doing using a manual approach. So it was clear for us that we have to do something here. Amazing. We're proud of you, and you deserved your award, AI Champions 2022. Thank you so much.
Oh. Unser dritter
Now, the third AI champion
einen vielversprechenden Namen genannt für seine
with a very promising name. This AI solution has got a promising name. So let's see what it is.
Lösung Casablanca.
And you get a prize for the solution Casablanca AI. The company is the Casablanca AI GmbH. Welcome to Carsten Kraus. Welcome and congratulations.
Casablanca.
Ja, und
Casablanca.
diese KI-Lösung
So,
mit
and let's
Vertrauen zu tun
see
hat.
what this solution has to do with trust. We will see this in a video clip. More than 500 million people conduct video conferences every day, and we here at Casablanca give you back that authentic eye contact. You can look each other in the eye again, face to face. This is important because facial expressions and gestures are older than spoken language and therefore sit deeper in the brain and can be grasped more easily. It needs good eye contact to build trust, and furthermore, many misunderstandings are avoided. Casablanca takes the two-dimensional camera image and uses artificial intelligence to calculate a three-dimensional image of the head. And this image is then turned accordingly so that you can really look each other in the eyes, face to face. Casablanca can be used with all video conferencing tools just by simply selecting the Casablanca virtual camera as your default camera, and artificial intelligence has made video calls more human again.
Ja. Ihr Applaus.
Your applause.
Also, darf ich jetzt offiziell
Now, officially, you get this trophy, this prize. Really fascinating what you're doing. Great idea.
Videokonferenzen in der Tat
We have so many video conferences, and very often when we look at the camera, it's difficult to have the eye contact. So it's really a quantum leap what you developed. Should we take a picture? The photographer is already waiting.
Herr Kraus,
Super.
hätten Sie mit
Thank
dem
you.
Preis gerechnet, als Sie sich beworben haben?
Did you
Also ich
expect
kenne
to
ja
be
die
awarded the
Veranstaltung
prize?
aus dem letzten
You know this competition because you already attended last year?
Mit dem Preis gerechnet ist immer so eine Frage. Also, wenn wir
expecting the prize? Difficult to say. Of course, we thought that we would have a chance, and we do something really unique, and we also push and further develop AI technologies. We develop own models and train them, but we also develop new procedures. And for some of them, we have patents already. So it's a disruptive AI development, and very often state-of-the-art is not sufficient. We had to develop new procedures for details, for 3D scans. So with the help of AI, it could get a better 3D model, better than other models. But this is not the only thing. There are many new features, and so we had to work on this during 2 years. Great, and it's really worth it, as you can see. So in the last 3 months, we hope to launch this, and there is also an expert with us, and I'm very happy that we could have a last correction, and we are looking forward to the launch. Yes, we're looking forward to applying this. Will you offer this as an add-on for all video conferencing tool? Yes, it works with all video conferencing tool. You need a graphics card, and it can connect it with Zoom and any other system, and works with any device, iPhones or other cell phones. Thank you very much. This is your applause. Thank you. Now, the fourth winner, the fourth AI champion, it's the company Geospin GmbH with the AI solution Location Intelligence Assistant. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm curious to see what is behind, and I would like to welcome Mr. Niklas Gobi and Christoph Gebele. And what is Geospin about? Why are they an AI champion? You will see. Hello, my name is Christoph from Geospin. We are a spin-off of the Albert Ludwig University in Freiburg. And at Geospin, it's all about location intelligence, about where and why something happens in a city. Why do we need AI or machine learning for this? As humans, we find it incredibly difficult to grasp the dynamic structures and interrelationships in a city, which is why we believe that a location intelligence assistant is needed to answer these questions. We have software that digitalizes Germany with over 800 features or pieces of information, making every location objectively measurable. Combined with our software procedures, we can then work out common structures and patterns for different products and services and transfer these to any point in Germany, thus reliably making forecasts. With the help of our assistant, everyone has the possibility to view these analyses easily via a web platform and turn complex decisions into simple ones. This combination of data, machine learning, and location intelligence know-how makes us unique and is the reason why we are here today. May I hand over the award to you? Great performance, and I'll go into the middle just for the picture. Let's take the picture. Dr. Gebele, so I'm really interested to hear how this idea came up. Location intelligence. How can you think of such a topic? As we could see in the video clip, we are a spin-off of the university in Freiburg, and we started in 2015 as a team, and there were further research work and dealing with this question, how to build an intelligent city. Data are generated, and the question is how we can benefit from these data. And we said, okay, let's not talk about it, let's do something. And this is the reason why Geospin was founded and why we're still in this environment. So it was not on the way home after a party just thinking about a new business idea. It was a classical approach at the workplace, and you were thinking of something interesting. Well, how should I explain this? Of course, this idea did not come up at a party, but we also needed some motivation to found this company. And in Berkeley, in the US, we could see these dynamic structures, and we wanted to do and create something cool as well. And we knew that there was a market, and we just wanted to implement this. Just start it, just do it. That's the motto. Okay, thank you very much. That's your applause. Thank you. Really an exciting first part of our award ceremony of the AI Champions Baden-Württemberg 2022. And now there will be a great keynote because everybody is talking about metaverse. What is metaverse actually? And what role does artificial intelligence play in it? So I'm looking forward to another virtual presentation. Richard Foster Fletcher will give this speech. He is the executive chair of mkai.org.
Can you see me? No, not really. So, welcome on stage with the topic Metaverse and Artificial Intelligence, Great Power and Great Responsibility. Hello? Can you hear me? Nope. Ich frage mal die Technik. Ist ja schon zu sehen.
I'll ask the technicians. We can already see him, but he doesn't know that he can start, I think.
Ja, das ist das Schöne. Unsere Veranstaltung ist
I did not know
live.
that, and I didn't want to interrupt anybody, but thank you for that signal. It's an absolute honor to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. And my heartiest congratulations to those winners just now and the phenomenal solutions that are being developed. It's certainly an exciting world that we live in. I'm here to talk to you today about some of the great power, the opportunities, and some of the risks as we move from AI into AI in the metaverse. It's an incredibly exciting space to be in, but there's a lot to think about and get right. And over the next few minutes, I want to raise some of those concerns, show some of the opportunities, and hopefully inspire what will be, I think, the next generation of artificial intelligence. I want to build on what our colleague Aranima has talked about in terms of the ethics. And I want to add that whilst 2062 might be the moment when artificial general intelligence matches or exceeds human intelligence, we have a lot to do and focus on right now. Now, let's start with what's on our screens in front of us. It is a log, a piece of wood. Why? Why am I presenting this piece of wood in a technology talk? Because it leads to some clues as to what we need to watch out for the most in our industry. I want you to imagine that we wrapped a piece of rope around this piece of wood and we pulled it through a forest and we pulled it past a tree full of monkeys. I believe nothing would happen. Monkeys would sit there and there would be no response to this piece of wood coming past. But if we took that piece of wood back into the workshop and we started to carve it, and maybe we carved out a head and pulled it past again the monkeys, nothing. And then maybe some legs, pulled it past again, nothing. Maybe we started putting some paint on there and some spots. At some point, this piece of wood would be transformed enough that it would look a little bit like a leopard. And at that point, if we pull this leopard made out of a piece of wood, no different to what we saw here to start with, the monkeys will run. They have absolutely no choice. It is a biochemical reaction in their brains when they are triggered by the piece of wood looking enough like a leopard, it will trigger them to scram. They can't change that. We can't change that. And so it is for monkeys. It is for us. And this is what happened recently, I believe, with Lambda and Google. What an incredible NL, natural language processing and generation transformer was developed, built on millions and millions, hundreds of millions of pieces of data to produce a transformer that could chat to us and write articles, write poetry, create art, and hold conversations that allowed it to even make jokes. It's absolutely a triumph of engineering that we can celebrate. So, what led us then to Blake Lemoine believing that this was suddenly consciousness? How did he make that leap? from seeing what the system could produce to believing that there was a thinking, processing consciousness behind it. Not only did he say this, but it captured the imagination of the whole industry. So we know that it's been built on over 530 billion pieces of data. It's looked at what we've talked about, what we share, what we draw, what we say, and what it hears, and images, and so on, to make up this incredible transformer. And in doing so, it's identified what's been known as a cognitive glitch, because it means that when people see something like that of an output, they believe a different level of input. They believe that the machine has to think to be able to sound like a human. And that, my friends, is no different to pulling the piece of wood past the monkeys. It is a cognitive, involuntary, biochemical reaction we have that we cannot help. And the point of my conversation today is not just to say how incredible this solution is, but to describe the problem with the virtual world and what happens next and how we learn from what just happened with LaMDA. So I sat down for lunch about 2 years ago with a colleague, and he said to me, Richard, the problem with virtual worlds is, he said, people know they're in the virtual worlds, they're not very good actors, and so typically the experience of spending time with people, real people in virtual worlds and now into the metaverse, is it's just not real. People know that our avatar, they're just playing around. It's not immersive and engaging properly. He said, and simply, the only way to remedy that is to have AI, but the AI basically isn't good enough. So that doesn't help us either. That doesn't bridge the gap to give us a truly immersive experience. Now, that problem is something that we will solve shortly. We've solved it to a degree in natural language. We've solved it in a way that a computer can talk to us or write. And now we're going to solve it in virtual 3 dimensions. And that cognitive glitch is going to show up with these new frontiers. Now, what frontiers am I talking about? Now, think about a company like Facebook, now Meta, $117 billion income, just based on their ability to analyze a small amount of data and turn it into behavioral insights for advertisers. Over 95% of Facebook's revenue now, Meta, is from the ability to sell to advertisers. But they did that simply from what we shared, what we liked, and what we typed. Now, as we go into these new frontiers, companies like Meta will collect an awful lot more data. As we put the headsets on, as we use devices with cameras that are capturing more information, they'll learn about the way that we talk to each other, the way that we gaze at each other, the way that we look at things, our reactions, our facial expressions, our micro expressions, the things that happen in microseconds before we can't even see them in other people. Our posture, our tonality, our inflections, and of course, our choice of words and structure of sentence. It's going to be phenomenal, and it's going to create a huge amount of opportunity and confusion. Now, this is where the glitch shows up again, because we're going to have realistic AI-powered avatars right alongside our photorealistic avatars. And I'm not talking about artificial general intelligence. I'm talking about a term I've coined called AMI, artificial mimicking intelligence. We don't have a problem right now with AI being smarter than us or super or general. Sure, it's becoming less narrow, and that's incredible. But the ability that AI will have to mimic human beings, particularly in the metaverse, is just going to be incredible and cause so much opportunity and cause so much confusion. So I'll just say that again, artificial general intelligence is not a problem that we have right now. Look at autonomous vehicles. They largely don't work. Many autonomous vehicle companies are becoming underfunded. They're letting staff go. The reason being that it's only learning on data that's been programmed. We don't have autonomous vehicles. We have pre-programmed vehicles. And people talk about self-supervised learning. Sure. Over millions and millions and millions of instances, an AI model can absolutely self-supervise its learning, but it cannot do it in seconds on the road on something it's never seen before. Closed systems like chess and Go, fine, doable. Open systems like the world, it can't be done at the moment. So it's this mimicry that I really want us to think about as we go into the next phase of metaverse and AI. So let me give you 3 examples of where this can be eerie, incredible, scary. Here's a lady, let's say she has Alzheimer's. We can put her in a virtual reality headset, into the metaverse and we can recreate the world that she thinks she knows. We can recreate the people, the moments, the timeline, the furniture, the environment, and we can put her context correctly into her vision. The world that she sees in her mind will be the world that she sees in front of her. Raises all sorts of ethical questions. I guarantee somebody will or is already doing it. An AI buddy, a friend, a lover, a partner that knows you better than anybody else, that supports you, that doesn't argue with you, that listens to you. Imagine that. Will we still want human friends when we have that good of an AI buddy? Of course, the AI is mimicking, but it's going to seem real. I'll intersect just 1 second just to remind you again, there's incredible uses from AI in the metaverse when it comes to education. We have already the data now that kids are learning better in virtual reality than they are in the classroom, faster, more effectively, more immersively, more collaboratively. For climate change, for showing people the impacts, for measuring and monitoring and sharing that with the world. It is a phenomenal way to change people's perceptions by going into the metaverse and seeing and understanding differently. Social support, even just helping people with the first time they're ever going to use an escalator. It's terrifying the first time you do it for somebody with disabilities or challenges. You can put them into the metaverse, they learn. There's so many great things that we can do. But we can do some scary things as well. My mother is mid-60s. She'll probably live for another 30 years. So right now we could start collecting 30 years of data on my mother. Think about everything I've said to you. How does she talk? How does she react? Her micro-expressions, her tonality, her inflections, how she looks. And then I could step into the metaverse and there she is. Even in 30 years when she might have died, she could be right there in front of me, acting, reacting exactly as she is now. I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. I'd be able to have a relationship with my mother forever if I wanted to, and so could the rest of us. But with this power is incredible responsibility. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. I congratulate our winners again today. I'm so glad you're in the world. I'm so glad this event happened and others like it. Go out there, do incredible things. Don't move fast and break things anymore, please. And move carefully and responsibly, and we will have this incredible metaverse with incredible AI that will power the kind of world that we want to live in, one with people and planet and profit all together. Thank you so very much for hosting me today and your time.
Thank you so much, Richard. That was really perfect. Thank you so much for this presentation. Ja, wir freuen uns, dass wir jetzt zum zweiten Teil der
And now we're delighted to start with the second part of our awards ceremony. And probably you're going to confirm this, Ms. Hofmeister-Kraut. We have a great variety of industries and topics. We have winners from, it's amazing to see where AI is used, right? Yes, it's a basic technology for our industrial location. And this is why the state government wants to make sure that awareness is created such that we can see what happens in our state, and also to encourage others to join in on this, to make sure that we can overcome this hurdle and start getting to know AI, starting to work with it. Of course, it costs some money, but you also have to think of the return, and this is why it's so important to use these showcase companies, for example, to show everyone else what is possible. And of course, we're focusing on small and medium-sized enterprises, our strong medium-sized companies that we have in our state. And this is why I'm delighted that we can see such a variety of AI champions today. It's a great honor for me. Yes, we have a total of 9 AI champions. And now we'll start with number 5. Yes, we'll continue with our 5th AI champion. And the AI solution is offered by the University of Aalen and the Center for Optical Technologies there. And we have the machine learning model for polishing EUV lithography components. So we're looking forward to what this is all about. And Mr. Schneckenburger, please join me on stage. Welcome from Aalen. Congratulations.
Ja, und was die KI
Yes, and let's now see what the optics manufacturing can offer. My name is Max Schneckenburger, and I did my PhD at the University of Aalen on the topic of artificial intelligence in optics manufacturing. Optics manufacturing means the production of lenses or mirrors, for example, as they're used in the semiconductor industry. The big disadvantage of these manufacturing processes is that polishing is a very important process, and here the disadvantage is that you have to work with a vast number of different parameters, not only mechanical but also chemical ones. And our AI enables us to predict material removal despite changing process parameters. A special focus is placed on the training of future employees, because if a polisher has been working with this process for years or decades, then they know what they're doing. But a new employee in the company will have no idea. And this is where our artificial intelligence comes in. It supports the worker, and our AI can also detect anomalies. That means if the process gets out of control or runs completely outside the process parameters, our AI can alert the worker to this such that they can initiate countermeasures.
Toll. Also wirklich.
Great.
Weiter vor. Und weiter nach
Let's
rechts.
step to the front and right.
Ja, Herr Dr. Schneckenburger.
Dr.
Jetzt haben wir Sie
Schneckenburger.
alleine in dem Film gesehen.
Now,
Es war
we
doch
saw
sehr viel
that you were
Teamarbeit
alone in the
dabei.
video,
Wer
but I
war
think a
beteiligt?
whole team was involved, right? Who was involved? Yes, in our lab we had several people working on this, but we were a small group of people, always 3 to 5 employees, mostly students, actually.
Über wie viele Wochen?
And for how many weeks did you work on this? Well, for 5 years. 5 years. Amazing. Did you actually apply last year? No, this year for the first time. Wonderful. And do you have a product that's already mature to be used in the market? Well, yes, it's used sometimes. There are not many manufacturers in this field, but it is currently already being used, yes. It's growing probably, right? Yes, we have to use it. We don't have a choice. That's right. Because, of course, we have a shortage of skilled staff. This is something that is a hurdle to innovation and growth, and these instruments are really helpful in this regard. Thank you so much.
Vielen Dank. Ihr Applaus.
Thank you so much. This is your applause.
Und unser sechster
And our sixth AI champion is Hydrop Water Systems with their AI solution, Hydrop Meter. And now I am delighted to welcome you, Ms. Katrin Kreidel, the founder and CEO, to join us ladies on stage. So it's great to have a female winner too.
Ja. Und Ihr Thema trifft den Nerv der Zeit.
And what
denn
you have
wie
been working
können
on
wir
is
Wasser
highly
einsparen
relevant today
mit Hilfe
because
von KI?
we can use AI to save water, and we'll show you now how this works. How much water does one person in Germany consume in one day, and what for exactly? I'm Katrin Kreidel, the founder and CEO of Hydrop Water Systems. We want to ensure that water as a finite resource is valued more highly. We don't have an endless supply of water. However, in Germany, we're using water as if this was the case. We want to change that by giving every single person the chance to change something in their own household. And we can show in real time what the water is used for, thus revealing saving potential. Currently, we are recording water consumption at the central house water meter using a camera attachment that is 3D printed. The data is then transferred to our neural network, that is our AI, and assigned to the respective process through a consumption pattern detection system. In our app, you can see what exactly the water was used for example, for flushing the toilet and washing hands. Thanks to the AI, we can do without additional meters and do not have to interfere with the sanitary system. According to studies, knowing one's own water consumption can reduce it by up to 23%. This not only saves water, but also hot water, and thus reduces energy consumption, which is highly relevant today. In this way, we can start to proactively reduce our water use and, along with it, energy consumption.
Zur richtigen Zeit mit der richtigen Lösung.
You got the right solution at the right time. That's perfect. Ms. Kreidel, what does it mean to you to be an AI champion now? I think you're the first lady today, right? Is she the first female winner? Right, she is. What does it mean to you? Well, for me and my team, it's a great honor that now it is appreciated that this is a relevant solution for today, that we can proactively do something. And it's really important to us that we can start doing something right now and we don't have to wait for a water shortage. We want to act now. Yes, you also showed us the attachment. Can this also be adapted to other areas? I mean, I know that you can measure the energy or electricity that is consumed at different times, but could you also say this can be attached to gas consumption, electricity, water? Is that feasible? I think there are solutions that are similar for electricity consumption, and there you have the smart meter, and the smart meter is also more mature than the water solutions. And ideally, we of course would like to use the data directly from the water meter and not using any additional resources. And this means that we also want to work on digitization in the field of water. So you're focusing on water. That sounds so exciting. The best to you. That's a great solution. Thank you.
There are 3 more award winners to come. Mrs. Hofmeister-Kraut. And now I can announce the 7th award winner. It is Klangyo GmbH with their AI solution, Klangyo Music Transcription AI. I'm really curious to see what it is about, and I welcome on stage Sebastian Murgul and Alexander Lüngen. Welcome on stage and congratulations. And what has AI to do with music theory? You will see it now in the video clip. We are the Klangyo team, and we combine artificial intelligence with music theory to relieve musicians of a tedious problem that is transcribing recorded music. And for this purpose, we have developed an AI system that can read out notes from audio recordings fully automatically and convert this into ready-to-read and playable sheets of music. Our AI is available to the musicians in the form of various apps. For example, Piano to Notes, an app especially for the piano, which is able to recognize all the peculiarities in the audio recording and map them in the note image. At Klangyo, we pursue the vision of the Klangyo app universe, and we have set ourselves the goal of providing an app for every instrument for musicians and creative artists, with which they can intuitively generate notes from their instrument. We at Klangyo, a music and creative startup, are pleased to be awarded the AI Champions Baden-Württemberg 2022 prize. We are also very pleased. Congratulations once again. Let's take a picture. Wonderful. So I'm curious to see what will happen with our music thanks to this great technical support. So very good. So where will you place this prize? I heard and learned that a trophy should not be placed on the piano. It shouldn't be placed on a guitar either. So we have to say that you're a guitar player. Yes, I'm a guitar player, and it cannot be placed inside or on a guitar, but we will place it in our office, and we have an office in Karlsruhe that we rented, and it will be placed there. Mr. Lüngen, in the video clip you presented your solution. What can be done with it, and how can I use this at home? You can already use it. The app is already available in app stores and can be simply used. And what will we do in future? My colleague, he plays guitar, so this is the next project, transcription for guitar players. End of the month, the application will be released. great. And there will also be a competition, I think, in 2023. So there are good chances that we can meet again next year with the next application. Okay, a big applause. A lot of success. We wish you a lot of success. A big range of different applications. It's great that we can offer this to our audience and that you can offer these solutions to us. And now I can announce the 8th prize winner, the company Neura Robotics, with the AI solution Neura AI API. And now I would like to ask Dr. Alina Kloss and Dr. Nordmann to come on stage. Welcome on stage and congratulations. And you will see in a video clip what they have developed and how they convince the jury. Here at Neura, it's all about the new era, the era of cognitive robotics. What have we changed? To this day, robots are used in such a way that they have mostly been programmed in a complex way for tasks that have simply been repeated thousands or millions of times. We have given the robots the senses of a human being, the hearing, the seeing, the feeling, and added a brain, that is artificial intelligence. And suddenly, robots are able to react completely autonomously to any situation, which means that we can use robots not only where we know them today in industry, now we can also use them where we have a shortage of skilled workers today. Our vision is to get robotics in every area of our lives, in the homes, in elderly care, and everywhere where robotics can make our lives easier today. Wonderful. May I hand over the prize? Mrs. Hofmeister-Kraut, this is a very topical theme, a shortage of skilled workers. This is very important, and people could be replaced by robots, or at least temporarily. How did this idea come up? Well, for some time already, robots can take over some tasks and provide support, but they're not always so flexible. There are simple tasks that are often repeated, carrying heavy stuff. This is what can be easily done by robots, but there are other more complex tasks, and here we use AI to make them more flexible and to transform more complex tasks. You also know these robots in some hotels. There is a kind of mobile bar and you can get a drink. And also in the field of security, there are controls and checks and robots are used there too. But you take a step further. Yes, you're right. Of course, in these fields, anything can happen because there are different people, other robots, and people interact and they meet. So a higher flexibility is helpful. Here, AI is helpful to be able to react autonomously. Dr. Kloss, how did you get your passion for robotics? How did it come about? Not so easy to say. Well, in general, I've always been interested in science, and as I couldn't decide what to study, I wanted to combine biology and informatics, and then I realized that the lab work in biology and chemistry is not what I want. And then I discovered robotics and AI. I studied in Tübingen, and I was so lucky because there is the Max Planck Institute for Intelligent Systems. So I'm really a child of the Cyber Valley, and I'm so happy that we have these top-class opportunities there. Wonderful. So we wish you a lot of success for this project. This is your applause. Thank you.
And the best of success to you. Ms. Hofmeister-Kraut, we can already continue with our last envelope. Yes, indeed. I'm almost sad now because because we've already come to the last winner. And it's really encouraging for me to see, and I feel that we have such a great atmosphere here in the Römerkastel. It's amazing, and we can see what is possible and what's happening out there and what you're achieving. And of course, this makes me so proud. And this is why our AI champions are really, really special for our state. And now I would like to announce the 9th AI champion. And our 9th winner is Planner AI GmbH with their solution Becker AI. And I would ask you, Franz Seubert, to join me on stage. Congratulations. Good to see you again. In Heilbronn we met, yes. Yes, and the significance of saving resources and using AI for this is what we can now see in the video clip. Food waste is one of the biggest problems of our generation. In Germany alone, every year almost 3 million tons of fresh food is thrown away due to poor planning. Our vision for Planner AI is to halve this amount within the next 5 years. Our story started as early as in 2014 when Jan and Fabian developed AI algorithms and procedures to optimize planning within the context of their PhD theses. As part of my own thesis, we then used these procedures for planning processes for fresh food for the first time. Our system calculates the ideal amount of fresh food based on a variety of factors. With this approach, we not only simplify and improve the planning process, but also ensure that up to 30% fewer products that would otherwise have gone to waste are produced in the first place. Our first product is Becker AI. It's already being used in hundreds of bakery shops, ensuring that as few bread rolls as possible end up in the trash every day. But bakery products are just the beginning. Together with our team, we are already working on making our solution available also for other fresh product assortments.
Super Idee.
Great idea. Mr. Seubert, I do have a little surprise for you. I'll just start, maybe you can follow.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, lieber Franz. Jetzt du. Happy birthday to you. Dankeschön.
Thank you.
Ja. Das ist Wahnsinn. Sie wollen gleich was sagen.
That's amazing. You want to say something, of course. Yes, I'll have some pretzels for you afterwards. Okay, okay. Yes, I was already hungry when I saw the video clip. Mr. Seubert, it's your birthday and you're also receiving this award. That's perfect, you know, double luck. Yes, one of the best birthday presents I ever got. Do you have an advice for us? Because you're the last winner of AI Champions 2022 today. Do you have a piece of advice what you should think of if you want to apply next year, how early you should apply, what solutions there might not be available in the market that you might have, but you don't have the time to implement? Well, I would say just apply, just try and submit your application. I think it's doable. We also just tried it out and we received the award today, so just do it. Perfect. We've heard this a couple of times today, so thank you so much. So enjoy the rest of your birthday. Thank you. That's your applause. Ladies and gentlemen, these were our 9 AI champions in Baden-Württemberg 2022. Thank you so much for having joined us. All the information on the contest and all the winners will also be available on the portal of AI Champions under www.ki-champions-bw.de on Monday. First of all, now, I would like to thank our minister that you took the time. It's always great to have you here during the entire event, not just for a short speech. Thank you so much for your support, your applause. Thank you so much. You're welcome. And now we would also like to thank everyone who applied in this year. If you didn't make it this year, you can also try next year at AI Champions 2023, because next year we will have the 4th round of this contest. And I would also like to thank everyone helping in front of the camera, behind the camera, all of the technicians. Please, a big hand for their support. And with this, we wish you a wonderful afternoon. See you next year. Your Ilka Grunewald. Bye.
Ja, wir sind nicht mehr im Stream zu sehen. Vielen, vielen Dank an das Publikum. Es war besser als bei TV Total, bei Günther
toll,
Jauch.
ja.
Sie haben so toll mitgemacht. Vielen, vielen Dank auch, dass Sie spontan gesungen haben. Das war natürlich mein Herzenswunsch, dass wir für Herrn Seubert dann auch nochmal ein kleines Ständchen singen. Danke für die Unterstützung und Dankeschön, Dankeschön. Wir möchten Sie jetzt alle recht herzlich einladen. Das habe ich im Stream gerade nicht gesagt, weil das gemein ist, dass wir jetzt hier alle noch schön feiern und die nicht bei uns sein können.